You are up, Commissioner.
All right, Bannock County Commissioners are in session Tuesday, September 2nd, and we're starting off with indigent business. Chantel.
Yes, Chantel Laulu with Indigent Services. Case number 202500050. It's an application for cremation expenses through Wilkes Funeral Home in the amount of $1,200. The application is submitted by the daughter of the deceased. They do meet criteria to be eligible for assistance, and she has agreed to a $25 a month repayment plan upon approval of this application.
Okay, any questions on that?
No.
In addition to that, we have a release of lien on case number 2000094 that is seeking release. So it's nice when we have those come in. That's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
Any further comments or questions?
No. Do we need to approve those individually?
We can approve them at the same time. Just the two separate cases. I'll do it. I move that we approve case 2025-0050 and also that we approve the release of lien on case number 2000094. All in favor say aye. Aye. All right. Did you sign that one? Matt is not here.
He's right here. I'm gonna tell him he's on the phone.
Let him finish that. We'll go ahead and go with Dan real quick.
Okay.
Dan?
There's one more down there. Thanks, Jeff.
Morning.
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 Kendall.
You brought Buddy with you, huh?
Yeah.
Backup.
Back up. The man that knows all the details. I'm here today to ask permission to move some funds for this year's budget to buy an ATV with a snowplow on the front of it. The one that we have, the transmission has had issues for the past 3 winters, and it gets beat up pretty good, and so it would be I'd be in bad shape if that thing went down and I didn't have another one ready to go. So Buddy helped me find a good alternative. It would be enclosed to keep my workers warmer. That 4-wheeler will freeze you to death. And anyways, Buddy's here to talk about that. I think it's a good option and less than what I thought it was going to be, but I do have money in this year's budget to pay for it.
Buddy?
So what we're looking at, it's a Honda Pioneer 520, and it's a 50-inch machine, so it'll work really well on like the sidewalks and smaller areas. They don't come stock with cabs and heaters and all that. That's all added accessories that the shop could help put on. The cab that I found is just kind of like a cloth cab with like a see-through window with nothing hard. It's just kind of a simple, almost like a tarp over it, I guess. And then we'd put a full glass windshield on the front. The back would have that same cab setup on, like the doors I'm speaking of. And then the heater is something, again, that the shop could put in. I have kind of estimates on those, but nothing really set in stone. But each, your heater is going to be around $500. The cab's about $600. And then the front windshield's about $500. And then we'll have to do the winch and the plow, which I'm still I'm looking for something more industrial for that, but it should be around $1,500 for, I guess, both of them, for the winch and the plow. And then again, our shop can do all the setup on that. The advantage to the Honda versus like a Polaris is the Honda, they have super low end torque, and so they do well with pushing and pushing heavy loads. And then again, just it being super small and maneuverable. They also come with a dump bed on the back, so he could maybe utilize that more so in the summer. But yeah, I don't know if there's any other details I'm missing, but.
What's the purchase price on the machine?
What was it, like right at
11,197. It should be in your packet.
Yeah, 11,197, and then that's out the door price, so that's got the freight on it and the dock fee and registration. So they're kind of getting hard to come by. I don't know if it's a tariff situation or what's going on, but this one's in Arco, That's the closest one I could find. There are a couple available in Utah, but the price was so close, I figured we'd just stay with Arco or Idaho, so.
Now, your total price on this paperwork does not include the 1,600, right?
For the
For the
accessories.
cab and stuff, right?
Yeah, no. This would just be bare bones machine.
But the 2,500 is for the plow and winch.
Yeah, which I'm gonna go a separate route than that.
Okay. But how much total are you asking, I guess is what I meant.
So it'd
Getting
be,
at. So you need the
The-
11,200 plus 1,600,
mhm.
plus how much are you thinking for the plow?
So the plow would be about, we'll say 1,200.
Okay.
I'm just curious because I have a lot of these kind of toys personally. So for a hard surround, what's the price difference for a hard surround versus the cloth?
I haven't been able to find one. So
Okay.
that's the only reason, because I would rather go that route too, just because longevity.
Mm-hmm.
I can continue to look and maybe we could come up with something, but
That's-
everything I found soft.
So my buddy that I rode dirt bikes with yesterday has this exact machine with a hard surround on it. So
Okay.
I'll ask him where he got it.
Okay, cool.
What's the general price for a hard surround?
Just to be safe, I would say $2,500 to $3,000, somewhere in that range. Hards, they're expensive.
Mhm. But it'll last
But
as
it
long as the
lasts
machine does.
forever too.
Do you have that in the budget?
Between building repairs and special projects, I do.
Okay.
Well,
Question?
my numbers, in a real quick math, is you're looking at $1,500, 15,000 if you go to the soft. But if you go to the hard, you're not gonna have the soft, so you're gonna be what, about 16, 17,000?
Yeah.
I mean, my philosophy is let's make it to last.
Okay.
And if we're only talking the difference between 15 and 17, I agree. If I'm the guy out there pushing snow, I'd just soon,
Go that route.
and I think your heater would work better
Mm-hmm.
with it, so I'm looking at somewhere around, what, 17,000? My
Yeah.
quick math, I don't know what, Christie's got a calculator over there.
Yeah, if you go with a hard one, that's.
So,
Christie's brain is a calculator.
So why don't we, if we're thinking about it, why don't we just approve it up to 18,000, that way you don't have to come back if it's, and we go from there.
Okay.
So you got that in the budget? Is you good with that?
Yeah,
okay,
he says he's got it, so.
I got
I'll
it.
make that then for me.
You're going with that?
Well, this far out, I don't know what special projects and items he's got, so
Yeah.
we gotta rely on it.
So with that, I'll make the motion that we approve up to $18,000 out of this year's budget if we can, get all the details and see where we're at on that.
Okay, we have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Thanks, guys.
Okay. Good
Thank
luck.
you.
Thanks. Matt?
Good morning. I'm Matt Olson, Director of Bannock County Juvenile Justice, and have Todd Mager with me, who's the Chief Juvenile Probation Officer. We're here to request an exceptional step placement for an employee that we've interviewed and we've offered a position to. We had a juvenile probation officer position that was open. That position is stationed over at the village. There's only 2 full-time employees over at the village in terms of our department. We have a lot of other, of course, between AmeriCorps and interns, a lot of support staff and part-time support staff, but there's only 2 full-time, Todd and then this position. The individual that we've offered this position to previously worked in this position for over 13 years, so he's exceptionally qualified. He's done this position very well. He was a senior JPO at the time he left us, so he was at a grade 11, step 5. So he's got extensive prior experience. He also, for this position, the qualifications are really high school diploma or high school equivalency with a bachelor's degree preferred. He has a master's degree in social work. So that can be very helpful to us in terms of supervising bachelor's and master's level interns that are really providing additional support to the kids and families over there. He's already post-certified, and he's only been out of this position 1.5 years, so we wouldn't have to send him to post for 3.5 weeks. In addition, there's a lot of training that we do outside of that as we go through field training, and we have employees that we're bringing on board. He's already trained in all those aspects and has really extensive qualifications in that regard. So we're here today to request that he be hired at a grade 10, step 3. As I mentioned, he was at a grade 11, step 5 when he left us before. This position is currently budgeted in county fiscal year 2025 at grade 10, step 2. However, there's been salary savings in that position. We'd like to start him on September 22nd, so there really wouldn't be much expense in terms of if he's approved to go to step 3. And then this position is already budgeted for grade 10, step 3 for county fiscal year 2026. So,
Questions?
Well, other than the step, what's the net difference in dollars if on your request?
well, in terms of a step 2 versus step 3,
Well, did you say, so your proposal is that at step, and I get all confused with all these grades and
Yeah.
steps, I fall down with those. So what's the difference between your budgeted amount and what you're asking for?
for
Make it simple.
for county fiscal year 2025, it's probably going to be like $100. I mean, it's budgeted for grade 10, step 2 for 2025.
It's barely one pay period.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it might be one pay period, so it's
Is this for
Very minimal.
26?
for 25.
Okay, for
So for
25.
25, it would barely be one pay period that he
Okay.
would be paid at a step 3 versus a 2. And then next fiscal year, it's budgeted appropriately. He just would not get a step increase next year because he'd get it basically 2 weeks
Get it
early.
up front.
Right.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's what you want?
That's what we're asking for, yes.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with that.
Yep, no, that's good, especially where we're saving money on the front end and not having to do post and all that other
Well,
stuff.
and retraining and
That's
and
a
everything.
huge thing, and then covering those cases for 3.5 weeks, or 3 weeks while he's at post.
Okay,
Okay,
I'm good with that, so.
want to make a motion then?
I will make that motion that we go ahead and accept the recommendation to hire the new employee at the agreed upon step grade deal.
Yeah, we have sort of a motion.
Yep.
Nancy, you good with that? Okay.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You lose me with all those.
Janda,
Only the best.
Good morning, Commissioners. Shanda Crystal, Chief Procurement Officer. I had 2 items before the board today, but I asked that we skip over the recommendation to award. We are still wrapping up some interviews with the bidders. And so we'd rather do that and have one more meeting with Dan and his evaluation team before we come back before the board.
Good.
So the second item I have before the board is a procurement update. I want to start on the dashboard at the top. We've got a couple for road and bridge. One of them that just went live is road salt. Those questions are due next Monday. It does not have a pre-bid on it, so we'll jump right to the questions and anticipate that being assigned and awarded before October is when they're hoping for their first delivery.
this is our, what, 3rd year doing this?
For road salt,
Yeah.
at least.
How's the process going, and are we getting more opportunities to bid or more people bidding?
So, right, if I recall, we only had 1 the first year. We got 2 the second year. This year, we only have 1 that says they intend to bid, but we've got a couple weeks before it's due, so I'm not too worried about it there. But I would anticipate our current supplier putting in a bid again, and then, I don't want to say their company name wrong. There was a company that missed the opportunity last year. They just weren't aware of it. It got sent to an old email that was still live, and they didn't notice it. So they are very anxious to bid. So I'm hoping we're through this year. But it's worked out really well for Road and Bridge. We're not tied to what the state does, though that we do look at it, right, and kind of look to make sure that we are close or less than what the state can do it for. So it's worked out so far, so good for.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have any piggyback opportunities with other counties doing the same thing?
So there would, like all of us, right, are doing road salt. So it just depends on how much you have to do. Some of the more rural counties are gonna have to do more than us. And that's why we're comparing it against the state, because they're gonna have to do the exact same thing, close to the exact same weather patterns that we do, right? And so that's why we're looking at the state. They usually get a bigger bang for their buck than a lot of us tinier ones do. But these vendors have been really close, if not cheaper, than what the state can do. So.
Okay.
The second one for Road and Bridge is their roof replacement. Those drawings have been completed and submitted back to us, so we went live last Friday. That bid will be published one more time this Friday on the 5th before we hold a pre-bid on that project. But it is moving forward just great. If you'll remember, we did ask for a pole to be put in on the Road and Bridge roof side. That has been added to this project. And we talked about adding the one at the landfill too, because both of them have to talk to each other. But in conversations with the architect and Dorian feels he'll be able to handle that in-house. And so he'll go ahead and do the landfill side once it's up and ready on the Road and Bridge side, to then have those two talk together and hopefully have minimal downtime with the services there. The next one that we have is for the landfill scale house project, is moving right along. Those bids are due tomorrow. Currently, I just looked this morning, we do have 6 companies that say they intend to bid. That doesn't mean right that they will, but I am excited for the exposure that they have, and that we've got 6 companies at least right now saying that they are going to put in a bid on that. So we're excited to see what that looks like. We'll open them on Thursday of this week.
What does the intent to bid do for us? Just people saying, here's my qualifications, we would like to do an official bid on the project?
Not even that. It's just saying they're interested in the project or they're not. Sometimes it's handy. I've had a couple of them say that I'm not interested in bidding, and this is why. Sometimes they give me good feedback, right, that some of those ARPA projects were too tight of a turnaround for them. So, right, just understanding how that can impact suppliers and contractors, knowing to give them a little more time. This isn't one of those. None of them who have answered their intent to bid have said no. But it is something that I look at and reach back out to suppliers if they're interested in having a conversation, just to understand, were the instructions unclear? Was it, too much that we were asking for? Or if it just wouldn't fit in their schedule, right? Just gathering up information. But it's not even a janitorial company could come in on this landfill one and say that I intend to bid at this point in time. We have no restrictions as far as who responds to that.
Okay. Thank you.
I have sent those 6 out to our engineer and our landfill. Are aware of who they are. So I recognize at least 2 of them. So it looks like we've got a good pool, hopefully, as they submit their bids. The last one I wanted to touch base. Oh, sorry. No, I already did. For the janitorial services. Sorry, I started on that. That we've got them all in and opened. Right, we're just wrapping up that reference check, and we'll have something back before then. We're on Thursday from that guy. The final one I wanted to do is a YDC Event Center office. We met with Headwaters last week, and they have completed the electrical, the fire alarms, and the plumbing are all done, completed, and approved. They were dropping in the ceiling grid last week, and then they were 99% complete on the HVAC, but need to drop that ceiling down before they could have an inspection on that. Their painting is done. We did talk about doing touch-ups and a final walkthrough, things like that, but we'll wait until Matt and his crew are all moved in and done. Then they'll do that final walkthrough before they do any of the final touch-ups on paint or anything like that. The next hurdle we have is the abatement and demo of that building. The abatement was completed and the demo was complete. So they'll do site work this week. We're hoping to get paved within the next 2 weeks after that, right, by the end of September. And then we anticipate the YDC furniture delivery in October. So we are right on schedule, and we do look like, that we'll get it complete and done, and well ahead of the weather. Right? Right, I should not have said that out loud. But is all moving forward according to plan.
So what special arrangements have we made to actually occupy part of that building early?
Right? So we did. We got permission from the city of Pocatello to occupy, no, sorry, from us, from Bannock County, to occupy from the firewall for the event center sign. So that meant it had to pass all of the electricity, all the HVAC on that side of the building was all had to be complete to get our certificate of occupancy to move Scott and his crew in. And then they'll do another one for the whole thing before we get.
So do we have duplicate breaker boxes? Redundant, what I should say is, so is one side of the building isolated from the others through any power boxes or anything else in case something does happen? Then we can say, fine, that side of the building cannot, something could happen on one side of the building and not
Gotcha, and
restrict
still
us from
occupy the other?
operating on the other side?
Gotcha.
I'm just asking that as a general question to see if we have any redundancy protections there.
I think there's a main and a sub panel.
Okay,
So
but
yes.
not two separates.
Well, yeah, they're separate. A main.
Well, but the main, if you shut the main off, you could shut everything off.
You could shut everything off.
But there's not two mains.
No.
So what I'm saying is there's two different functions there, at least for our part right
For
now.
our purposes. Mhm.
But I'd just like to see, if something did happen and we had to close one half of the building, or not just half, one portion of the building, we wouldn't have any issues with continuing to function on the other side.
I can have Dan, he would know a lot more than I
Yeah.
do about that, to come back and report before the board on his update. I am certain that we followed all code and requirements, because there are special ones because one of them is a school. So there were additional requirements and things because we had that YDC up there. So I know that we followed all that, but I know that Dan can give you more detail
Okay.
As far as
Just
being able
curious,
to.
because there's two different functions or two different restrictions, I mean, if we had to literally close one down for whatever
If we could keep the other
purpose,
cycle.
the other side could continue to function. Water, sewer, I mean,
Right.
the whole 9 yards.
Right.
So that's what I'm just curious about.
Okay, I'll touch base with Dan and have him bring it back for the board.
Or you can just chat. If it's my own personal question, just have him let me know.
Just touch base.
So,
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the list is to approve the proposed fees presented during the public hearing on August 26th. Is there any further discussion on those fees that were presented at the public hearing?
Nope.
Then I would move to approve the fees as presented during the public hearing on August 26th. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay. Next, we have Resolution 2025-56, approving August 2025 salaries. Resolution 2025-57, approving August 2025 alcohol licenses. And ordinance 2025-05, amendment number 71 to the zoning ordinance number 1998-1. Any questions on any of those?
I did not see any. So with that, I will make the motion that we go ahead and approve those resolutions, 2025-05, 06, and 07. Is there just the three of them?
Yes, and then the ordinance 2025-5, number 71.
Okay, and the ordinance 2025-05-71 to be included with that.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye. Motion passes. There's that bunch there. Next is, I'm excited about this, the public hearing notices. And these are the public hearing notices for all of the area of city impact discussion. So this is public hearing notices for all of the cities in the county. Chubbuck, Pocatello, McCammon, Ermo, Downey, and Lava, and Ingham. Did I say Ingham? And this is just authorization to print the publication notice.
So is anybody not included in that date?
To my knowledge, it looks like every city in the county is there. And just for the public watching, these open houses, these public hearings will all be held on the same day, October 21st. And we will cycle through each one at about 15, 20-minute time schedule. Any further discussion on that?
The only thing I worry about is where these are hard posted times. If one runs long, what do we do about the others? Wondered if that is a sufficient time. 15 minutes can go by in a heartbeat if by the time you're gonna have to read certain things for each one hearing, I think, to make it compliant. I just wonder if 15 minutes is enough. It probably should be.
We can move things around. What we do is just pause the one,
Well,
start the
that's
next
what-
one,
You
right?
you can always start later than your published time, but you can't start it.
Okay, with that in mind, I'm okay with that. I just didn't want to get into one of these, everybody's confused and for the wrong hearing and get us into a pickle that way. So long as we can have some flexibility with that. 15 minutes is probably more than enough time for some, so good with that.
Okay, and in addition to the public hearing notices, we have a notice of sale of Bannock County real property. These are tax deed parcels that will go up for sale Tuesday, September 30th at 2 p.m. Any discussion on signing that?
No.
Okay, and then I would move to approve the letters and notices as discussed. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next is the independent contractor agreement with D6.
This one was previously signed, but it was, the one that was signed was an older version,
Okay.
which gave her the ability to bill bi-weekly and to have a net turnaround of 15 days and possibly some other minor things. This one corrects that because our independent contractor should be billing us monthly with a net 30 days.
Okay, yep, I see the net 30. So, okay. Legal, did you have a chance to look at this? Like, just
No, we're good.
to sprinkle it with your holy water? You're good? Okay. Any discussion on that?
No, that sounds good to me.
Okay, then I would move to approve the independent contractor agreement as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And with that, we are to the consent agenda, which is pretty light today. All we have, it looks like, is alcohol licenses. Any questions on the consent agenda?
I didn't see anything in there. With that, I'll make the motion that we accept the items on the consent agenda.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.